morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. All right, now, peace and blessings. I was told I was getting chose to be a hero for the work that I do. And I don't feel like, honestly, I deserve this. And the reason I say that is because I read a book a long time ago. It says, a hero ain't nothing but a sandwich. And I don't even know what that meant. I guess I'm a sandwich. But anyway, before I start, I just want to say I want to acknowledge somebody who inspires me, who I look up to, and somebody who, to me is incredible. That brother right there is Zimbardo. Yep. Thank you, brother. Salute you. So they told me to come up here and speak. So for y'all don't know, I run a violence prevention program here in San Francisco that originated 24 years ago from gang violence. It started at a high school, at Balboa High School in '94. It's one of the most notorious schools in San Francisco, and there was a lot of different altercations. And so I seen that kids was not getting educated. So I brought the kids together who was not getting educated, and they was all gang members from different neighborhoods in San Francisco. And we sat down and we talked about what can we do to stop the violence. And guess what? All the kids had all the solutions and answers. They just needed somebody to listen to them. They needed somebody just to respect them. They needed somebody just to pay attention to them because nobody was listening. And so, hold on. That's Obama. They're going to have to wait. This is more important right now. I'm getting an award. A hero ain't nothing but a sandwich. He gonna laugh at that one. So, the kids who sat in the room, who was at war, I asked them, what did they want to do to help stop the violence? Because they wanted it. So they came with all the solutions. They wanted merely just basketball games, football. Hold on, that's Trump. I ain't gonna answer that. No, I'm messing with y'all. There you go. This is live, y'all. This ain't no script. You seen that. So, anyway, back to the story. The kids came with all the solutions. I said, okay, we have a club here at campus that's working at stopping the violence. What you guys want to name it? So we started working with a lot of different names. We came up with United right there. In '94 in San Francisco, that word players was out because they had a lot of rap groups. They had the Get Low Players, they had Forte, Rapping Forte. And so we adopted the name United Playaz. We put it on the board. And for 24 years from this second now, from all the way into this second, this program, this organization has gained and went worldwide. Worldwide. Stopping the violence, y'all. And so I say that because if you think I'm a hero, it wasn't me. It was the youth. It was the kids. They had all the solutions. But you just got to pay attention and ask them what they want. And listen to them. And so that's a part of the journey that United Playaz is at. We got chapters all over the world. And so going back just to me on my journey, how did I get to where I was at? I'm born and raised. I'm a native of San Francisco. I actually walked up here. Y'all ever heard of the Tenderloin? Yes. Ain't nothing tender about the loin, y'all. Y'all know what it is. And for y'all who don't know, it's like its own world. You got everything in a square block that's in the Tenderloin. Straight money, mac, and murder. Those are the streets that I came up and I experienced as a young man. At 10 years old, I seen my first dead body. At 11 years old, I was getting high. At 12 years old, I joined the gang. Matter of fact, I was sharing with the people back here, and I appreciate y'all giving us all this technology, all this. I feel like a robot, but it feels good because I used to rob people right down here, and I'm not proud of it, but that's what I used to do. And to me, it's not how you start the race, it's how you finish the race. And so all throughout the time that I was over there, I grew up understanding that's how you had to survive. I've been on both sides of the gun. I've been on both sides of the world. I was in Israel last year at this time. They had me come. Yeah, that's right. I was out there. I was in Tel Aviv kicking it. A young Filipino cat from the hood out there in Israel having fun. They didn't know what to do with me. And then, I beat death several times. Y'all, if y'all are from Frisco, y'all know General Hospital, is that right? The best trauma unit in probably in the whole America, one of them. And so I laid in there a couple of times. There was a dude there named Mr. Campbell who saved people's lives. So they brought me back to life. And so when I look in retrospect of everything that's happened from now until then, the only thing I could believe what still got me here, because I'm on borrowed time, is that man upstairs. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I didn't have him before because I used to work for a guy. His name was the devil. And when I worked for him, I did a great job working for him. But I found out what he was. He was a liar. He was a destructor, and he wasn't telling the truth. And he does good at that. But till I found something that was stronger and more powerful than him was G-O-D. That was God. And to me, God is the ultimate gangster. That's why his name started with a G. And so, now that I have found something that's more powerful and I know that's my calling, that's what I do. Because at one point, I was banging for a cause, for a block, for something that was a color or a neighborhood that I didn't own nothing over there. I was banging for that. And I would die for that because I got a committed spirit. And I'm sure everybody who's here, who's heroes, have that same spirit of commitment. And so now, instead of banging, I still bang, but I bang for change now. I bang to keep my community, my people safe in the neighborhood so young kids and seniors and people could walk down the street and nobody bother them and mess with them so they could feel like they just living their life and to be successful. And so United Playaz is the players right here that are not the ones with all the women, all the jewels, or all the long fancy cars, because I had that before when I was living that life. And when I was living that life, I thought I'd go on the other side of the rainbow and find a pot of gold. I went on the other side of the rainbow when I was in that game. I found a pot of police. And so these players right here are doing something positive and productive now for their people in the community. These are the new players because we saving lives. We ain't taking them no more. And so my organization that we do now, United Playaz, we work with elementary, as young as kids as elementary, all the way to adults that's in the penitentiary. So guys are coming home, restorative justice, re-entry, guys who did life sentences, 25 years, 35 years, 45 years. That's giving back to the community and saving lives. What better person to call to stop violence than people who used to be violent? If I got a toothache and my teeth, I'm not going to call a mechanic. I'm going to call a dentist. And so, if I want to get somebody to help curb and prevent and silence the violence, well, I'm going to get people who were there before that changed their life and now figured it out. And to me, if that's what a hero is, then I accept that. I want that. And so, I'm going to finish off by saying this. In San Francisco, y'all hear about a lot of the good things. Y'all hear about the trolley cars, the Golden Gate Bridge. But it's the dark side to San Francisco. And I know some of y'all from Frisco know about it. There was some young men that was shot the other day. There was 6 of them got shot. One of them died. One's fighting for his life up at General. Hopefully he makes it. And so the United Playaz organization, we work in collaboration now with numerous organizations. I'm here in the South of Market, Tenderloin area. We work with conjunctions with a lot of different organizations. One of them is West Bay, 50 years serving the Filipino community, which one of the girls, where you at, Carla? Raise your hand. Are you here? See her right there, little girl right there? That's a beast, y'all. She may be little, but she ain't no pushover. And so what we do right now, we do gun buybacks. So watch this. Check this out, y'all. This is some deep stuff. So remember, Rudy, right down the block, I used to carry 2 guns, one on the left and one on the right, for suckers on the left and suckers on the right. But not knowing the damage what guns would do until I became a victim myself. Or I seen one of my homies blew his head off. And so I was like, man, this ain't what I thought it was because ain't nobody told me. And so United Playaz organized with the city and county of San Francisco, the SFPD, the late Ed Lee, who was the mayor, my homeboy, right? A lot of different department heads, the Department of Suicide, the Brady Campaign, and a lot of community-based organizations. We all came together and said, let's do gun buybacks. Because there was a guy his name was Ian Johnson, his father got murdered around here. And he wanted to change the policy of guns, and we didn't want to go through the red tape. And so we did straight gun buybacks. So we got gun buybacks. We got money that we got generated from, y'all know San Francisco, the dispensary stores, because they legal. They donated money to help stop the violence with us. And so we was able to get around $50,000. Anybody who pulled up on a day and a time that we made the gun buyback, we'll give them $100 for a handgun or a rifle, but then we'll give 200 guns for assault rifles or semi-automatic. So we did it. In 2007, we did it for 5 years. But the last one we did, we was able to get 288 guns off the streets, y'all. So watch this, though. I'm almost finished. 288 guns. Every gun that we get, the police department, they tag it to see if it's stolen. They give it back. If it's for a crime, they go ahead and hold it as evidence. But every other gun we get, we destroy and we melt down the tuna cans. So they never hurt, harm, or kill anybody again. And so this last week, do you guys know that it was the 50th year anniversary of Martin Luther King that he got assassinated, right? And so they sent me to Atlanta because they needed some guns because they wanted to melt down because we was going to plant 50 trees for the 50-year anniversary. And so they called me up. There was a project called Lead to Life. Lead to Life in Oakland called me. So I went down there and I was able to ship 50 guns that came from the gun buyback, that the outreach was done by all the guys who came home from prison, the lifers. We got the guns, we sent them. A guy came from Minnesota. He had a refinery, like this thing that melts guns, right? We had the families who lost their families, the gun victims, putting it in there. It was melting the guns down to like hot lava. And in the lava that came out, they poured and we made shovels. Remember, we planted trees. So watch this. We had 50 trees. We planted all over Atlanta. Martin Luther King liked the cherry trees. Y'all didn't know. And so we had the shovel that was made after the gun. We had the tree. We had Martin Luther King's family there. We had soil that was used from guys who got lynched. Mississippi, Alabama, and Atlanta. They gave me the soil of a guy named Mac Brown who got lynched in 1930 or something like that. So we used the soil of somebody who got lynched. We had the tree. We had the shovels from the gun. And guess what? We was planting life. A young boy from around the corner who just walked here, that's what God has been doing. He's been making the impossible possible. He's been using me. And so I thank you guys for accepting me as a hero. And so I'm going to say this, then I'm going to shut up. I didn't even know I was going to be there this long. Martin Luther King 50 years ago gave a sermon. And he said in December 24th that weapons will be turned into plowshares. So he said this 50 years ago, but he read it out the Bible. It was an Isaiah verse. And so what was in the Bible came to fruition out of Martin Luther King's mouth 50 years ago, and I was used as somebody with the shovel that turned guns into something that saved lives, y'all. I'm out. Thank you.
The Hero Roundtables are the global events that ask the question, what is a hero? You've just seen one hero talk. To To find more and join the conversation, visit our website or social media.